Okay, so have you ever felt like, you're putting in like all this effort at work
Yeah.
and the results just aren't?
Oh, yeah.
Like they're just not keeping pace. It's like you're on this productivity hamster wheel and you're like, well, I mean,
A treadmill.
yeah, it's a treadmill. You're going nowhere.
Absolutely.
And, we've all been there.
Yes.
But what if I told you that AI is actually like flipping that whole struggle on its head?
Yeah, AI is it's really changing the game
Yeah, it really is.
in terms of productivity and how we work.
It's like the old saying, like, work smarter, not harder.
Right.
And that's where this idea of the work inversion curve kind of comes in, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And especially, with large language models.
Yeah.
You can achieve a level of output with these models that used to take a whole team of people
Like specialists.
to do it.
So instead of spending weeks writing a marketing report, you could potentially have a first draft in like an hour.
I mean, less, potentially like minutes. Even.
In minutes. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just really incredible.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So let's break this down for our listener.
Sure.
First, we have this idea of low input, high output, and that almost sounds too good to be true.
It does sound too good to be true, but it's actually, it's pretty amazing what these models can do.
Like how?
So, for example, imagine you're writing a blog post about the latest trends in sustainable fashion.
Okay.
Traditionally, you'd have to do a ton of research, scour articles, compile information.
It takes forever.
And then start writing.
Yeah.
But with an LLM, you could give it a prompt.
Right.
Like write a blog post about the top 5 trends in sustainable fashion for 2025, and boom, you've got a solid starting point in minutes.
So it's like having an AI assistant who's read like every fashion magazine and sustainability report out there?
That's a great way to put it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And what's even cooler is this is just one characteristic of this work inversion curve.
Yeah.
There's more.
Okay.
So the next one is what we call iterative refinement efficiency.
Okay, so I'm guessing that means making changes to something doesn't have to feel like you're starting all over again.
That's exactly it.
Which is the worst.
It is the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with LLMs, you can tweak your initial prompt, add more detail, refine the tone, and the output will adapt almost instantly.
So it's like having like a super responsive editor that never gets tired.
Right, exactly.
Of your revisions.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm picturing this. I need a presentation on the future of remote work.
Okay.
I give the LLM my basic ideas. It generates a draft.
Okay.
But then I'm like, I need to add some data about productivity.
Yeah.
So I just like refine the prompt and it updates the whole presentation, adding that new info like seamlessly.
That's exactly how it works.
Wow.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And that brings us to like the truly wow factor of this curve, which is called multimodal scalability.
Right.
And this is where you're no longer limited to just text.
That's right.
You can generate images, presentations, even code. Yeah. All from that same starting point.
All from that same starting point.
Hold up.
Yeah.
So you're saying I could take that presentation on remote work and without lifting a finger, have the LLM create accompanying visuals, maybe even a website landing page, all from that initial prompt.
All from that initial prompt.
What?
It's incredible.
That's insane.
The implications are pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And to think about it, you could launch a full-fledged marketing campaign with visuals, copy even a basic website, all in the time it used to take to design a single flyer.
Yeah.
It's
wow.
It's really game-changing.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty incredible. Yeah.
So I'm already seeing how this is like a total game changer for so many different fields.
Oh,
but let's talk about time.
Sure.
Because, time is something we're all kind of obsessed with these days.
Yeah.
If we can create all this amazing stuff with less effort.
Yeah.
That's got to free up some time for us, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So,
like how much time are we talking about here?
So the work inversion curve has huge implications for something that we call time to value.
Okay.
So if you think about the traditional way of working, you have these long lead times for projects.
Right.
You're waiting on feedback approvals, revisions.
It's like every step forward is like pushing a boulder up a hill.
It is. It's like you're constantly, battling against these roadblocks.
Tell me about it.
But with LLMs, you can generate those initial outputs so quickly that you can start iterating and refining almost immediately.
Yeah.
And, and remember that multimodal capability we talked about. You're not just creating one thing at a time.
Okay.
You could be working on a document, visuals, even some basic code, all in parallel.
So the whole process is like supercharged.
It is. It's like you're getting multiple results for the same amount of effort.
Multiple results for the same amount of effort.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that is wild.
Yeah.
Can you give us like some concrete examples of how this plays out like in the real world?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's say you're working on a grant proposal.
Okay.
It's a complex document.
Yeah, they are.
And you usually have to go through, rounds and rounds of revisions.
Right.
But imagine using an LLM to create like a first draft based on a detailed prompt.
Mm-hmm.
Then instead of like rewriting entire sections,
right,
you just refine your prompt.
Okay.
Maybe you add more specifics about like your budget or your target audience.
Right.
And the LLM just instantly updates the proposal.
Wow.
Incorporating your changes in seconds.
That would save so much time.
It would save so much time.
Like no more spending hours rewording the same paragraph.
Exactly.
Over and over again.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a huge time saver. And it's not just about individual tasks.
Okay.
Think about how this can like transform team collaboration.
Yeah. How?
So let's say a marketing team is launching a new product.
Okay.
One person could start with a prompt that outlines like the key features and target audience.
Okay.
The LLM generates some initial marketing copy.
Okay.
Another team member takes that copy and uses it to generate visuals.
Right.
And a social media campaign.
So everyone's building on each other's work.
Exactly.
And the whole process is streamlined because of that like shared starting point.
Right.
And being able to iterate so rapidly.
Exactly. And because they can make changes so quickly.
Yeah.
It just speeds up the whole process.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
My brain is like buzzing with possibilities here.
I know, right.
But let's like zoom out for a second.
Okay.
And think about the bigger picture.
Yeah.
How does this work inversion curve, this shift in how we create value, actually change the way we work?
I think it's a fundamental shift, and it challenges our traditional notions of productivity.
Okay.
It's no longer just about how many hours you put in.
Right.
Or how many tasks you check off your list.
Yeah.
It's really about the quality of your thinking.
Okay.
Your ability to leverage these AI tools effectively.
Right.
And how well you can refine and guide the output.
So it's almost like the skills that are most valuable in this new world are different.
They are different.
It's less about execution and more about strategy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So think about it, prompt engineering.
Okay.
The ability to craft those instructions that get the best results from LLMs.
Yeah.
That's becoming like a highly sought after skill.
Right, because you're basically telling the AI what to do.
You're basically the director.
Yeah.
And then there's critical thinking.
Okay.
Being able to evaluate the AI's output.
Right.
Identify any biases or limitations. And make sure that it aligns with your goals.
So it's like you're the conductor of the AI orchestra. You're guiding the overall direction.
Right.
Making sure all the instruments are playing in harmony.
I love that analogy. That's a great way to put it.
Okay, so this shift also has like huge implications for the economy as a whole.
It does. It does.
I mean, we could be looking at lower barriers to entry in a lot of different fields.
Yeah, definitely.
High quality work that once required these huge teams and budgets could become much more accessible.
Right, to individuals and small businesses.
I think that's exciting.
It is exciting.
Imagine a solo entrepreneur being able to create like a professional looking website, marketing materials, even product prototypes, all with the help of LLMs.
Yeah, and all very quickly.
It really levels the playing field.
It does.
In a very cool way.
Yeah, it's very democratizing.
Yeah. But of course, like with any like powerful technology, there are potential downsides.
Of course.
What are some things we should be like watching out for?
Well, one of the big ones is over-reliance. If we become too dependent on these tools, we risk losing some of the deep expertise and understanding.
Right.
That comes from actually doing the work ourselves.
Yeah.
It's kind of like relying on a GPS for every journey.
Right.
You might get to your destination, but you'll never really learn how to navigate on your own.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all about finding that balance, right?
It is. It's about finding that balance.
Using these tools strategically.
Right.
But not letting them completely replace human skill and creativity.
Exactly.
Okay. And then there's also the question of quality control.
Right.
Because LLMs are trained on these massive data sets.
Huge data sets.
Which means they can reflect like the biases and limitations of that data.
Exactly. They're only as good as the data they're trained on.
Right. So we need to be very careful.
We do.
About evaluating the output making sure it's accurate, original, and aligned with our values.
Exactly. And
so it's like we have this incredible power at our fingertips.
We do.
But we need to wield it responsibly.
Exactly.
And we need to use these tools in a way that like enhances human creativity, not diminishes it.
I agree. It's an exciting time.
It is.
But we need to be mindful of the potential downsides as well.
This has been a mind-expanding deep dive.
It has.
I feel like we've only just scratched the surface.
Yeah, me too.
Of what's possible with this work inversion curve.
It's really just the beginning.
It's a real paradigm shift.
It is.
And it's going to change the way we work, create, and think about value.
Yeah, in really profound ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
On this deep dive into the world of AI and the future of work.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll be sure to include some additional resources in the show notes.
Great.
So you can continue exploring this fascinating topic.
Awesome.
And remember, the future isn't something that just happens to us. It's something we create.
Together.